Maybe this is alright, I think, but actually, I don't know whether it's going well. I mean, what I'm saying is that whether my smartphone is working well or not, which is what I was saying. So anyway, so hello everybody, I'm Richard Gon of Luxury Podcast version, and this time what I'm going to talk about is to not to start with. So before actually speaking out the topic of this episode of podcast. So I'm going or let me tell you or let me tell you anyway. Let me tell you that this episode is going to be a boring one. I'm going to tell you again that this episode is going to be a boring one, which is what I'd like you to know this time anyway. So so before actually begin to listen to this episode, so if you do not want to listen to a boring stories, and to start with, so my episodes of my podcast, or the episodes of my podcast are boring. Maybe there must I think there must be some exceptions, but or there must be some I think that I hope there must be some exceptionally interesting, or there must be exceptionally intriguing or exceptionally funny episodes among the episodes of my podcast. But actually, so in general, or roughly saying, my podcast is boring, and this is and among those episodes of my podcast, what I'm saying is that so this episode is going to be an extremely boring one, exceeding the rest of the episodes of my podcast in in terms of how should I say boringness, if such a thing exists. I'm sorry. So let me check us. Let me check out whether what I said is a correct word or not. If there's something like the degree or the extent of being boring, for example, so this is I think this is one of the most boring stuff, which is what I'm saying. Yeah, but there's a noun boringness in English language anyway. So I think there is a if there's a measurement of, or if there's an extent of boringness. This is I think this is going to be one of such the most boring episode, or the most boring one, which is what I'm saying. And this time, so as you see, I don't know whether you can see the title of this episode. So the title is "From Ukraine to Sri Lanka." The war has already been over in your lives, hasn't it? And this and that. So taking a look at the description column of this episode, you can find out writing anyway. So and what that writing says is, and this time the story is boring. The conclusion is what is written in the section of title, and I'm thinking of pasting or writing the link of a page of Wikipedia describing Sri Lanka. And Sri Lanka is the name of a country which is located to the south of India, or to the south of Indian subcontinent. I'm sorry for my bad skill or I'm sorry for my I'm sorry for my low proficiency of English language. That is because I'm a non-native speaker of English language, which is why, so as you know, if you are frequent listener, so if you are frequent listener, I think you know that I'm a non-native speaker of English language, and I'm not so good at speaking English compared to native speakers of English language. Anyway, so as title shows, so there's I think you have already known that there is a war named Last Ukrainian War taking place in Ukrainian territory, which was caused by the invasion of Russian force anyway. So which is how that war had begun. But actually, so actually the war has still lasted. Was the war there's a maybe even on this moment, maybe there must be some Ukrainian people who are killed, or who are murdered, or who are being being killed or who are being massacred by Russian troops, for example. So such a thing is possible, which is the situation of this time or of this present time. And this recording time is July or the middle of July in 2022. Anyway, so so telling you the situation. So, but actually, so but I think you can understand what I'm saying in that section of the title that as the title shows, the topic has been shifted, maybe has been shifted from topics about Ukraine to the topics or to the stories about Sri Lanka. And there's an economic crisis, or maybe there must be a crisis of safety or security in that insular nation. So so anyway, so I don't know much about the current the circumstance or the current situation or the present situation of Sri Lanka. But actually, I watched that the president of Sri Lanka was a Sri Lankan president fled from Sri Lanka, or the president of Sri Lanka fled out of Sri Lanka, which is a news I watched or I listened maybe days before or months, not months before, maybe days before. Sri Lankan president went away or went out of Sri Lankan territory. Sri Lankan territory. I'm sorry, my mother tongue doesn't distinguish the pronunciation of L and R, which is why sometimes I get confused which one I have to pronounce between L and R. Anyway, so Sri Lanka is a kind of a confusing pronunciation for me, because my mother tongue is to start with. I live in that insular nation located in East Asia, and by taking a look at the world map, or by taking a look at a map of Asia, you can find out that my country is located to the east of China, or to the east of Korean Peninsula. So which is there must be a country composed. There's a country composed of mainly four islands, and including Okinawa Island. My country has been composed of five islands, maybe. And maybe of course, I don't have to tell you this, but actually there must be some islands, or islands. Yeah. There are some small islands around my country. Anyway, so but actually this time what I'm talking about is another insular nation, which is in the region of South Asia. So India and surrounding countries are called South Asia. And so West Asia is that Arabic or Islam countries, such Islamic countries or Arabic countries are called West Asia. And Southeast Asia is giving you some examples. One of the some Southeast Asian countries are, for example, Thailand and Burma and Vietnam, and those countries are called Southeast Asian countries. And so what I'm talking about is Sri Lanka. And but actually, so the truth is what I'd like you truly. No, that is not the correct correct English grammar. So what I'd like you to know truly, or what I'd like you truly to know is that so the broadcasting company or mass media or flagships I'll try to capture the focuses of the general public, which is what I'd like you to know this time. So so roughly saying, what I'd like you to know this time is that you should watch things around you skeptically, which is what I'd like you to know this time. So which is why this episode is boring. What I'd like you to know, what I'd like to tell you, what I'd like to truly tell you is that it's good for your life to watch things or watch stuff around you skeptically, stuff like that. Such a thing is what I'd like you to know this time, and which is why this episode is really boring, and maybe what I'd like you to know this time is, or what I'd like to tell you truly is what you have already known in the course of your lives. So which is why I don't have to tell you this, but actually, anyway, so, coming back to the title and the writing of this episode, the title is From Ukraine to Sri Lanka, the war has already been over in your lives, hasn't it? And this time the story is boring, the conclusion is what is written in the section of title, and so maybe your focus has I think your focus or your main concern has already been shifted from the Russo-Ukrainian war or that Slavic war to the business or to the riot or commotion or uprising or some kind of dangerous situation taking place or happening in the country named Sri Lanka. And so this time I investigated what kind of country Sri Lanka is, and so I'm interested in foreign language, which is why so I checked out what foreign languages are used in Sri Lanka, and so this country uses Sinhala language and Tamil language, and Tamil language is surprising because Tamil language is used in Singapore, which is a Southeast Asian city country or metropolitan country, and which means so the territory of Singapore is really small, and Tamil language is also used in the south of India or in the southern region of located in the Indian territory, and Tamil language is said to be close. Tamil language is said to have some words having similar pronunciations to Korean language. Tamil language is such a country, which is why I got surprised. Anyway, so because Tamil language is used in Singapore, not Singapore. Tamil language is used in Singapore, but actually this time what I'm talking about is Sri Lanka. Anyway, so I'm thinking of ending this episode, but actually, so as I have already told you that you should watch things skeptically, or you should watch things. How should I say? I can't find out another word, another word having the same meaning as skeptical. So let me check out the meaning of skeptical. So wait a moment, please. This is much better for me. How should I say that? Is doubtfully correct word? I don't know, but actually, anyway, you should watch things skeptically or dubiously or doubtfully, or maybe or incredulously. I think incredulously can be a better word for explaining what I'd like to truly tell you this time. I'm sorry for my clumsy manner of speaking English. So I have already told you the title and what I want to tell you this time. So if you'd like to know things about, or if you'd like to know what Sri Lanka is, please take a look at the description column of this episode so that you can find out a link leading to the web page of Wikipedia describing what Sri Lanka is. So that's it. Thank you very much for your listening. See you. And so this is a correction. This is a correction, but actually, so I when I was picking up, or when I was telling you telling you some examples of Southeast Asian countries. So there was a part in this episode in this episode in which I was giving you some examples or giving you some examples of countries located in Southeast Asian region. So when I was talking about that. So I told you Burma as an example of Southeast Asian countries. But actually, so Burma is maybe a past name, and the current or the present name of Burma is Myanmar, and so official name of Myanmar is Republic of the Union of Myanmar, which I think is which is a formal term for the as the name of Myanmar. And so Burma is a past name, or Burma is a previous name for the country, which is currently or presently named as Myanmar.